here. Okay. Make sure all my stuff is good here. Make sure you guys are muted. I see 18 of y'all in there. It's perfect. This is the way that I share my screen. And this is the way that I show you guys the specific things about what we're doing in these programs like Photoshop and Illustrator and some of the other design resources you guys will have available. This is the way I'm going to show you how to do it, because especially in the back, it's really hard to see my screen up here in detail. This is a way that you can more easily see what I'm clicking on. And then I have a couple of useful tools like this pointer, or like I can turn on a thing that shows what type of click I'm making. It's a very useful tool that I've had a lot of success with. You can ask some of my previous classmates or some of your previous classmates how well it has worked out. But anytime I mention the Zoom room, you're going to go to the home page, or not the home page, sorry, modules page, and then click on this GD Zoom room in the resources. And then once you click that link, it should take you in automatically, especially since you've put in your name already here. What I also like to do is I like to record these Zoom rooms, record these lectures so that we have a record of the things that I showed you or the stuff that we're focused on specifically, so that you guys have that resource to go back on and review or check back later, so that you have a easy way to kind of see what's kind of stuff we're going over there. Okay, so moving on to our next thing for the day. Let's check on the other agenda. We got to set up our OneDrives. You've probably done this before, but I want to have this process on video so that you guys have an access to it later on. I actually need to switch my screen share real quick. Give me just a second. So your Zoom should update, and it should now see my other screen, my main teacher screen. We are looking, if I do some more setup right here, yours should look something like this. Okay. Maybe your OneDrive is in here. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of, just whatever. Sorry. Let's quit that for just a second. Here should look something like this, potentially. Where did it go? All right. It's not appearing for me because I think I just disabled it. But you should have, if you click on this little caret right here, the little vertical up and down caret, you should have a little, good morning. You should have a cloud with a gray slash through it. Can you guys see the cloud with through the gray slash? Okay. When you click on that cloud with the gray slash, it should open up your OneDrive sync settings. So mine is currently logged in because it's just attached to my account. This whole time the microphone has been off. I apologize. Should be on now. What I want you guys to do is click on this cloud if it has a gray slash through it and log in using your computer login. The same one that you would use to access your email. So you would need the full Issaquah address and the full password that you use to sign into your email so that we can get your OneDrive to start syncing. So because of the way that seating charts will get changed every so often, so you're not locked into one seat for the entire semester, or if your computer needs to be serviced or you need access to your file outside of the classroom, everything gets saved into either OneDrive or onto a flash drive, onto somewhere safe where you know you can access it in case the computers decide that they want to comp out, right? To do this, I also, once we get into next week, I expect your files named in a specific way. That is one of the things that is important to the graphic design world. If you decide you want to go into a design or a creative career outside of high school, it is important to understand how to name and organize your files. So we're going to do some of that next week. And we'll just talk about that more next week. For now, all you guys need to do is to create a graphic design folder inside of your OneDrive. So I think some of your OneDrives are still logging in. You know your OneDrive is correctly logged in when you can open up your File Explorer. This guy right here, right? When your File Explorer has a OneDrive destination on the side here that says issaquah.wednet.edu. If yours, because mine's the dark mode version, you can see on the Zoom screen. If yours just says OneDrive, you can click on that to log in as well. So as long as it says Issaquah, you are good and you are set up inside of your OneDrive. So I'm going to take a quick lap and see how we're doing, make sure everybody's synced or attached to the Zoom room, and then we'll move on to the next couple little things that I have planned for today. Sound good? Okay, give me just a second. Okay. God, that is so loud. Okay, we're going to turn that down. Okay, it has not come out of my speakers in the past. Okay, so we're at this link right here on GD Thursday. Zoom room, that'll take you into the ability to see my screen, which you can currently see the big one as compared to the small one, which is what we're usually working with here. Okay, so I saw a majority of your OneDrives are syncing. The way that you check to make sure your OneDrive is syncing, before you start doing any work for this class, once we get projects, once we get actual graphic design things to do, you want to always check and make sure that your cloud is blue before you start doing anything, okay? This is the safest place to save your files because then you can access them from anywhere, and they keep a lot of backups just in case something goes wrong. Now, what we've run into in the past is when the internet goes down, it doesn't work very well with our internet saved destination. However, because these are Microsoft computers with a Microsoft products, it's a whole thing of stuff. There's a version that's saved that will sync later on. So it's not all is lost if the internet goes down. But that's just planning ahead in case that happens. I know it's happened a lot more than it usually does this semester or this last semester. Basically, you just want to always check and make sure that your cloud is blue. All right. So we got OneDrive logins. Always check for blue clouds, especially next week. You're gonna get real sick of me saying make sure that your OneDrive is syncing because I'm gonna be doing it constantly until we know for sure that everybody's PCs are caught up with OneDrive syncing and with graphic design in there. All right, and that's the first place you should save your work every time. Okay, so a little bit of vocab. When I talk about the File Explorer, I am talking about this yellow folder that is where you typically keep all of your files in. It's the way to, we'll get more into the terminology. Again, it's kind of boring, but anytime I mention the File Explorer, I'm talking about this window right here. Yours might look a little different. Mine's got the dark mode enabled, obviously. I can show you how to do that if you're interested. But it makes sense because I want you guys to open your File Explorer and then create a new folder for Graphic Design 1. You can call it, you can include the one or not, but it needs to have some amount of the words graphic design inside of it because this is the first step to organizing your files and preventing the problem of turning in a project that has the name Untitled 1, copy 1 to final version, this final version, use this version, .Photoshop or .Illustrator or whatever. We're gonna avoid that. No more of that in this class. So once you've got your Graphic Design 1 folder configured in your OneDrive, that's all you really need to do on the OneDrive side of things today. It's really boring, it's really simple, but I want to make sure that we do it as a group so that you guys can all make sure we do it at the same time before we get into anything too serious. I actually have one, I organize my OneDrive by year and then semester. So there's your guys' first period graphic design class. You can set up your OneDrive however you want. I'm a little bit paranoid and over-organized, so I have a ton of folders within folders, stuff like that. The only two requirements for what I'm asking you right now is to have your OneDrive syncing, which means you got the blue cloud, and your folder named graphic design in there somewhere. As long as you've got those two things, you're good. You're in a good spot. Okay, let me switch my screen share over to the other screen this time. I think I want to do this and this. Okay, so it's going to change resolution because my monitor and my projector are a little bit of a lower resolution than your screens are here. So when I upload these videos, once we finish them, for example, they're going to be a little bit square. So it's going to be I guess it's not that deep, but just something to be aware of. It's not going to be the full HD that you're used to on the screen that you see there. Okay, that's OneDrive logins. That's the boring stuff completed, or not boring stuff. We move on to our next boring thing, which is Adobe logins. So Adobe logins, because it's been a bit since I've had a graphic design course, the Adobe programs are probably all going to need an update, which is what we're going to spend today doing until another update comes along. So to sign into your Adobe, you can type in your Windows search bar right here, Creative Cloud, okay? You want the one with the rainbow that looks like this. When you click on that, let me sign out real fast so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Yours is gonna look something like this once it decides it wants to show up. Okay, so yours should look something like this once you open up the Creative Cloud. This is the exact same sign-in that you just used for your OneDrive, because since you're in a CTE course with Mr. Blakeney, it's attached to your school account. So you're gonna log in here with your school account, and it's gonna allow you access to the Adobe programs. I can't remember the exact number, but I think you get 5 computers to log in with. It might be 4. I don't remember. It's definitely more than 1. So that's what I mean when I say you can download Creative Cloud on your home machines and sign in with the same process. And as long as you have less than 5 computers signed in total, you can use these full Adobe programs. We have the full suite. We have all of them. You can use them outside of class. This includes the iOS apps. So if you have an iPad specifically, you can download those apps, and those don't count against your device limit. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna log in with my address real quick. I hit tab. Can't spell. You're gonna learn that I typically cannot spell. Okay. After you put in your email address, it's going to prompt you with this Microsoft situation, since we have it's called Enterprise Accounts. This is very similar to what it would look like if you were in a design team, because it's likely going to be provided at a business level as compared to an individual level. I like to stay signed in. This part is optional, but that way you don't have to put in your password so frequently. You don't have to. It's up to you. Then Adobe's going to think for a second, signing me into the Creative Cloud.
Update all the stuff.
You should update all of the stuff. Exactly. That's the next thing. That's why today's boring. It's not a lot of activities. It's a lot of watching bars go up and signing into stuff.
All my stuff was
Pretty sweet. Okay, so my stuff is all currently up to date. But if yours is not up to date, there's a thing right here in the top left corner. You're not going to believe this, but it's called Updates. And then you can click this little spin, refresh sort of icon in the top right. That will make your Creative Cloud check for any updates that need to happen. So since we're all going to be very suddenly, Creative Cloud is going to have 30 new requests for updates. It might take a little bit of time for these updates to actually apply. So we're just going to wait until they finish up. In the meantime, we'll just chill. Once they finish, we're good to go. So I currently don't have any because these are the updated recently. It'll tell you when they were updated, and you can just open them. And we have access to all of the apps. You have every one of these you can manage through the Creative Cloud. We're going to be focused mostly on Photoshop and Illustrator. We might do a little bit of InDesign, but these 3 are the big ones that we're going to be focused on for Graphic Design 1, at least. About half the year on Illustrator, about half the year on Photoshop, and then I can squeeze some extra InDesign stuff in there because it behaves very similar to Illustrator. Okay, bless you. Let's look back at our agenda real quick while those updates are running. The last thing I want to talk about, since I upload these videos to YouTube, I upload these Zoom rooms there. I think it's kind of fun to have you guys create me YouTube thumbnails if you want to, totally optional if you want to. But if you want to start practicing some of the things that we cover in graphic design, YouTube thumbnails is the quickest way to actually see your work in the real world, which is something I'm going to emphasize, and other art classes should emphasize as well. I don't know if this is an art credit directly, but it is an artistic thing that we're doing in here. You have to see your work in the real world. You have to print it. You have to interact with it in a way that you can see it visually and other people can also see it. So YouTube thumbnails is the quickest way to do that. I can give you here. Let me pull up some examples of some ones from the past. Give me just a second to do that. just to give you guys some perspective. All right. So here's one. I'll put some text in here for whatever we need. There's a couple ones from what was that? That was web design. This is studio graphic arts. These are I made this one just as a backup, but this is student made. That's student made. That's student made. So this is what your YouTube thumbnails could look like. You could go in the meme direction, the Mr. Beast direction, or you could do something a little bit more serious. I'm open to both. I think it's fun to actually give you guys a platform to show off some of your graphic design skills a little bit, especially as we cover more and more pieces of the apps. Again, I want to emphasize this is totally optional. This is just something that you can do for fun to actually practice graphic design in this course so far. Does that make sense? What's up?
Do you get like extra points if we do it?
Maybe at the end of the year, but I wasn't planning. So if you make me a bunch, then perhaps. It's mostly about the experience. All right. And those are the big things that we have to do today because Adobe logins are going to take some time. So the rest of this time is yours. We'll go off the air. You can start working on thumbnails if you want to with apps like Canva because your Adobe apps are probably updating or you've never used them before. Whatever you guys want to do, you have a lot of this period left to use as kind of like a study hall or just to make sure that all of your apps are ready to go for next week. Once we get into that.
Am I allowed to download Steam?
I don't think it'll let you. You don't have the download privilege. But yeah, as long as there's a pass, you can grab one and sign up. Okay. I had an announcement on the tip of my tongue, but I totally forgot. Oh well, it'll come back to me. Okay, so next steps, whenever we have a Zoom room that I am recording, if it's not just a quick one, I'm gonna end this meeting, which will it'll kick all of you out. There'll be a little pop-up, so just be prepared for that. I'm gonna process it, upload it, and then you can access this whole video that I've just done at any point, and I'll show you where to find them once I finish processing it, okay? So, we're off the air. The time is yours to finish updating or just work on whatever you need to work on. Those were my big things we needed to hit today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more about some syllabus stuff, some seating chart stuff. If you have, oh, that was my announcement. Okay, if you want me to consider something for your seating chart, please Canvas message me. I'm going to be working on those over the weekend, and you should expect those when you come in on Monday. You will have an assigned seat. I like to switch up the seating charts so it's not so you guys get a chance to interact with a variety of different designers. So I think we'll switch those up every month. Seems a little much. So maybe like 6 weeks or something. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, and I will let you know on Monday how often I want to update those seating charts. So you guys get a chance to move around a little bit. Make sense? Any questions? Sorry, it's kind of a boring day, but it's an easy start to your Thursday, if nothing else. All good? Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up.